All right, friends, let's talk about what else good writers do. Good writers use correct conventions. Now, what are conventions? I'm actually going to make you pause the video right now and go back into Canvas and watch this video right here because it will explain what conventions are. Pause, move on, come back. Conventions are those rules that we have in the English language that make it easier for us to read because it's going to be the same no matter what, right? Your spelling, your punctuation, your capitalization, your grammar. There are things in the English language that's just easier if everything's the same. For example, the word the. It's really easy to read the because it's THE every time you see it. Okay, it'd be really confusing if some people spelled it one way and other people spelled it this way. You'd be reading along and you'd be like, what is that word? And it would be hard to read and understand because you get caught up on the spelling. And it's same with capitalized letters and with punctuation of words, of sentences. So that's why conventions are so important because they're used to make the writing more readable. If a reader can read through your writing without having to stop and figure out what you're trying to mean, then you've done a good job with conventions. On the other hand, if someone is reading your writing and they read it and they go, let me read that sentence again, that didn't quite make sense, then your conventions might be off. Maybe you have a word misspelled. Maybe you have a comma that needs to be there that's not. So the reader's not quite sure. Okay, so conventions are there so that the reader can read it the same way that the writer said it, or the same way that the writer wants it to be said. Okay, so what I think one of the most important conventions that you can work on, besides like capitals and periods and sentences, right, is the spelling of homophones. Homophones are those words that sound the same but are spelled differently, like there, two, your, it's. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same. So that's why they often get confused because the writer knows it's supposed to be there, but they're not sure which there it is. And that's what we're going to spend the next couple days working on, is knowing the difference between these homophones and how to use them correctly in sentences. So today's going to be there, and there. The next lesson, we'll talk about the other ones. But we're going to learn there, and there by watching a couple videos. So again, I'm going to have you pause and watch this fun military video and then listen to this awesome homophone there song so that you can learn the difference. Okay, so those videos showed you differences. I'm going to explain what makes sense to me and how I remember these words. The first there is the there that has the H-E-R-E. And I remember this there because it actually has the word here in it. And this there is actually talking about a location. It's not talking about here. It's talking about there. So if the sentence is talking about a place or a location, and it's not talking about here, but it's talking about there, then I know I'm going to want to use the T-H-E-R-E, the there. Okay, that's how I remember this one. Now, the next one is the only there that has the I. Now, usually when you think about I, you think of like these are my things. I have a dog, and I have a house, and I have a car, right? So the there with the I is talking about something you own. Only it's not my dog or my house or my car. It's their dog or their house or their car. Okay, so this there is talking about possession. Someone owns something. Something is in possession of something else. Like in the video, it said that is their motorcycle. Whose motorcycle is it? It's there. So if you can answer the whose is it with a hey, it's theirs, then you're going to want the there with the I. Okay, the final there that we're going to talk about is the there with the apostrophe. Now, apostrophes are used in contractions. Contractions are when you have two words that you put together into one word. So this there is actually a contraction of they are. And when you have the apostrophe, that's telling you that it took out some letters and put the apostrophe there instead to be a little bit lazy. The apostrophe is replacing the A in the they are. So what works really, really well for me in knowing if it's this there is I restate the sentence with they are. And if the sentence makes sense with the they are, then I know it needs to be the there with the contraction. Okay, for example, the video said, they're going to be really mad that we're taking their motorcycle. Does that sentence make sense if we said they are? Let's try it. They are going to be really mad that we're taking their motorcycle. That sentence totally made sense, which is why this there worked, okay? But on the other hand, the sentence where the sergeant said, do you see that motorcycle over there? Let's replace that with a they are to see if it makes sense, okay? Do you see that motorcycle over they are? Totally did not make sense, huh? That's how we knew it wasn't the contraction there are, and it was the location, not here, but over there. All right. So if you want to pause the video and talk about other ways that helps you remember these theirs, then that would be awesome. Or I'd love you to pause and explain to your neighbor the differences between the three, because hearing it helps you learn, but speaking it and teaching it keeps it in your head and paves that trail a lot better. So now that you know the differences between these words, you're going to see that there are a lot of adults in this world that still get them mixed up and still use them incorrectly. Okay, this is a poster. It's an advertisement for some video games, it looks like. And it says, so fun, they won't even know they're learning. Okay, they're trying to convince you and persuade you to buy these video games, or maybe it's a book, I don't know. The problem is they're there. This there is talking about the possession of someone's, right? Like their car, their video game. But if we replace this there with they are, we're going to see that it kind of makes sense. Listen, so fun, they won't even know they're learning. Ooh, yeah, it should be the they are, shouldn't it? With the apostrophe, because that's exactly what they're talking about. They're saying so fun, they won't even know that they are learning. Yikes! Which this video or this billboard's even funnier because it's supposed to be like an educational advertisement, but they made a big educational mistake. Okay, here are some more. Okay, employees must wash their hands before returning to work. And this is the same mistake. Parents must keep their children under control at all times. Let's look at these theirs. They both use the there as in like not here, but there. But neither of these sentences are talking about a location, right? They're talking about employees' hands and they're talking about parents' children, which means if we're talking about someone's hands, like whose hands? The employee's hands. Whose children? The parents' children. If we're talking about something that's possessed by someone else, it is the THEIR, isn't it? Yeah, we're talking about their children and their hands. So they use the incorrect there in both of these sentences. It's kind of fun, huh? To spot people's mistakes. All right, the next one is Miss Taylor Swift. All those other fans, well, they're beautiful, but would they make this sign for you? Do you see the there? Is that the correct there? Are they talking about a place, a location? All those other fans, well, they're beautiful. Would it make sense if we said they are? Let's try it. All those other fans, well, they are beautiful, but would they make this sign for you? Yeah, that totally made sense. So these girls should have used they with the apostrophe RE. They are beautiful, but would they make this sign for you? Oh, goodness. Hopefully Taylor Swift didn't notice, or at least didn't call them out on it. Okay, so now that you know the difference, it's not okay to be mean about it. Okay, you're going to want friends, and friends don't yell at other friends and tell them they're stupid and they use their wrong, their incorrectly. Okay, but the focus of this is I want you to not make that mistake as you are writing. One more slide, I think. Try one of these cookies or Rice Krispie treats. They're delicious. All right, there's the there. Is that the correct there? Are we talking about their cookies or their Rice Krispie treats? Or are they saying they're delicious, as in they are? They are delicious. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So this should be another contraction. They're delicious, aren't they? Okay, so now that you know use the correct there. And if you are writing a sentence, typing a sentence out, and you come across it there, then think, okay, am I talking about a place? Am I talking about like their dog or like a possession? Does it make sense to say they are? Those are kind of the things that I think through when I'm trying to decide which there to do. Okay, so your assignment for today. Oh, one more. When I was making these slides, I received an email on the day I was making these slides, and it was someone who was trying to sell buttermilk biscuits to people. And in the email, this person said the par-baked buttermilk biscuits, like the fast foods restaurants use for their breakfast sandwiches. And when I read that, I kind of, with the there. Okay, this is the there, not here, but there. Is this person talking about a location? Or are they talking about breakfast sandwiches? Yeah, they're talking about whose breakfast sandwiches? Fast food restaurants' breakfast sandwiches. So it's the possessive one. They're talking about the fast food restaurants' sandwiches. So it should have been the EIR. So why does this matter? Well, when I got this email, I thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to buy these biscuits. Because if this person is careless with their writing and careless with using the correct homophone, then they might also be careless with my food. And I don't want that to happen, so I never bought these biscuits. Okay, so there is a reason why these homophones are important to use correctly. They make you look a lot more educated than if you use it incorrectly. If you use it incorrectly, people might misjudge you and think that you are careless or that you're not very smart, and they may be wrong. But you gave them that thought that, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You must not be very smart. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to hire you. I don't want to buy anything from you. So that's why I feel like it's important that you know about these conventions. All right, your assignment today. You are going to create a poster explaining the difference between there, and there. Okay, your poster must have two things. It must have an explanation of how to use each word. So there is a location. There is when you're talking about something that someone owns. There is a contraction of they are. So it has to have an explanation for each word. Plus it has to have an example sentence, okay? They're going to the store. They're going to go pick up their dog. And their dog is over there, okay? So you may include pictures if you'd like, but you don't need to. You have two options. You may do this on paper with your own color pencils or markers, or you may do it digitally. The digital version is let me show you some examples first. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. Here is an example. It has the three theirs. Here is their example sentence. This there shows possession. This there refers to a location or a place. And this is a contraction of they are. Okay, so there's their explanation sentences. And then here's their example sentences. That is their car. Whose car? Their car. My house is over there. Not here. There. They're swimming in the ocean. They are swimming in the ocean. Okay, so that's an example of kind of what I'm looking for. Here's another example where it has the three theirs, three explanations, three sentences. And then finally, this one's kind of fun. The zombies are over there. Their limbs are falling off, and they're going to eat us. Now, these example sentences were great, but it didn't have the explanation. It didn't explain how to use the different there. So this one wouldn't get full points, but I love the idea of it. Okay, so if you choose to do it online, this is a document that you're going to open up in Canvas. Now, this will give you full points because there's a place for you to write the explanation. There's a place for you to write an example sentence. And then if you want to include a picture, I even have a place for that. If you don't want to follow this format, then the next page, you can delete this text box and create your own. Okay, just make sure there's the three theirs, three explanations, three sentences, and you're good to go. Now, if you finish, because I'm going to give you some time tomorrow or next lesson as well, and you can work on posters for the other homophones that we're going to talk about more tomorrow. So that is your assignment for today. Good luck. I'm excited to see it. Make sure you submit when you're done so it sends it to me.